So the biggest challenge that we're facing at the moment, the one that's worth answering, is how do we get the most out of ourselves? How do we live great lives? It seems as though we're putting a lot of energy into improving technology and machines. At the same time, it's somewhat accepted that statistics in terms of health, we know that most people are going to die from cancer or cardiovascular disease, dementia, diabetes, obesity. All of these are considered to be largely preventable. How do we live our best life? That's the question that I'm most interested in answering with my life experience, my time here on Earth. Uncommon Success is about answering that question. So it's masterminding, connecting with other people, which I think is fundamental to athletic, richer, and smarter. We've defined what we're building towards. Ultimately, it's about choices. So for me, there's that choice of that's what I value most. Therefore, that's where my life energy is going to go. I see far too many guys who really lack confidence to do what they want to do. They work jobs that they don't really want to work. They have projects in mind that they haven't started on, that aren't progressing. They're not getting the training done, and they're not eating the way they'd like. Now, that's the worst case, but we've all got that to some degree. So it's like a continuum or a spectrum that we need to improve along. If we can improve the way that we're eating, if we can improve the way that we're training, if we improve our financial situation, then life is getting better. If my life gets better, then I have more confidence and more energy to help someone else to improve their life. So that's pretty much what I've been focused on and the system that I've been working under for the last 7 years. Before that, I was working with professional athletes full time. And that's a variation of this where it's mostly focused on the athletic side. There is a personal development side, but you don't really get to go as deep or challenge as much in that environment. People don't really opt in to work on those bigger questions. But this is, what's worth answering. So I want you to be able to choose what you do with your time. That's really important for me. If you can choose what you do with your time, if I can choose what I do with my time, then we have a much higher degree of freedom. The degree to which you can choose, what you do with your own time, it illustrates how free you are. So choose where you want to be in the world is another one. This is a really challenging one at the moment because not many countries are as great to live in as they were a few years ago. But it's at the same time, challenge brings opportunity. And I see, these crypto island projects popping up. One's called Crypto Island, one called Satoshi Island. I see a lot of interesting developments in Central America of different communities with different rules and housing structures. All of that side of things is really, really exciting to me. And we're building, controlling, developing. One of my friends has a really exciting project on Vanuatu that I've been involved in. It's very early stage for it, but choosing where you want to be in the world is such a important part of what the experience of life is going to be. And having the ability to travel is something that most people really enjoy. I think a lot of people have travel as one of their highest values, people that I speak to. And so how do we maintain that ability to travel? Well, we have to have the finances, and I do believe it is becoming more of an elite thing to be able to travel. Any of the restrictions on quarantining and those sorts of things favors towards people who have more control over their time, who are able to go for longer, who are able to afford hotels and all those sorts of things. So becoming wealthier is one of the keys to opening up this stuff. So becoming more athletic, becoming richer, becoming smarter, masterminding with other great people gives us the opportunity to explore these things. So choose what you do with your time, choose where you are in the world, choose who you want to be with is another big one. Okay, so the more control you have over your time, the more you develop yourself, the more you're able to travel, you can choose who you're going to be with in the world. And so this is a high value. This is something that I'm looking forward to developing and experiencing, experimenting with more. I have lived around really cool people that I enjoy spending a lot of time with for most of the time since I left Sydney. But at the moment, I don't really have too many friends local to me. This is a choice that I want to be able to make. And as I expand in the other areas, then it will also open up opportunities to spend more time with people who I want to spend time with. Another one is choose what you're able to do physically. So if you're able to choose what you do physically, your experience of life is going to be better. What is it that you'd like to be able to do? Do you want to be able to juggle? Do you want to be able to do handstands? Do you want to be able to snatch? Do you want to be able to jump really high? Do you want to be able to run really fast? Do you want to play a certain sport at a certain level? Making the choice of like, yeah, I'd like to do this. This is what I'm going to do. Gives you more direction, gives you more purpose. This is part of the uncommon success process where you choose what you're going to do physically and you experience it. Well, you maybe you do experience it, maybe you don't. Just because you choose something doesn't mean you have it, but it means you're moving towards it. It means that you have direction, and it gives purpose, it gives meaning, and it makes life ultimately a lot more livable. So choose the body that you live in. It goes with the physicality, but it's also about health. It's about body composition. So have you made a strong decision of this is the kind of body I want to live in, and are you moving towards that? It's not going to be a perfect journey. It's not always going to be as you intend it to be, 100%, but you will transition and trend towards it, and maybe you'll even get to a better position than you thought you could. Our expectations and what we think we're capable of increases as we take little steps. So sometimes when you first speak to someone about their ideal body composition, and they'll say 12% body fat at muscle number of 90, which means relatively muscular, but nothing great. Initially, that might seem like a really, really tough challenge to someone who's battled with obesity or battled with really struggled to put on muscle mass. But as you do that, then you maybe set higher targets for yourself, and that is a healthy thing because it encourages you to continue to be excited about what's coming in the future, continue to develop yourself, continue to refine process. Another one is to choose how deep to take your knowledge. We can learn about lots of different things. We have to choose specifically what we're going to learn about, and then we choose how far into that topic we're going to go. There are all sorts of different things that we can learn about. We can learn about anything now. You can learn about stuff that is not going to improve the world at all, but is kind of interesting to learn about. Or you can really put your energy into things that solve the biggest challenges of our time. We each have the opportunity to decide what it is that we're going to know a lot about. Some people know a lot about Netflix and series and what's going on in all the popular sports all around the world, and other people know about antiques and stamp collecting, and they know everything there is to know about stamp collecting. So you're going to choose what you're going to go deep with your knowledge about. Personally, my focus is to have knowledge about things that really enhance my life and enhance the lives of others. And I have this framework with Uncommon Success. I'm looking to connect with other people who have similar values and explore similar ideas so that I can learn more and maybe teach, learn, interact, develop in these areas. The last one here is to choose the energy that you share. So I know that at live events, a lot of what changes, we ask these questions, what kind of life do you really want to live? If it all goes to plan, where will you be? We have these conversations, and the words matter, but the energy also matters. Like living in that feeling of hope, living in that feeling of expecting a good future, and living in that feeling of knowing that better is coming. That's ultimately what I want for those who want it. The feeling of hopelessness, the feeling that, no matter what you do, things aren't going to change very much, helplessness, it's not a good place to be. So confidence comes from this energy, from doing things that are challenging you, from having higher expectations for yourself. And that's really what needs to change. When that energy changes, then life changes for the better. So this is the template of the Uncommon Success life. You have to choose. Choosing not to choose is still a choice. So if you choose, well, I'm not going to have a target for myself in terms of the wealth that I'm going to accumulate. I'm not going to have a vision for myself in terms of what my body's able to do, what my body looks like, how my health is. I'm not going to actively think about who I want to associate with. Well, that's a choice as well. And that has results that probably somewhere close to the status quo, somewhere close to the average person today. Being close to average it's not a good time to be close to average. It's a good time to be an outlier, to be a long way away from the middle. And that is what Uncommon Success is about. My target, my goal, key ambition with Uncommon Success is to have 88 friends who have 8-figure wealth or more by 2028. And so this program is all built around that framework. How do I help 88 people or more to 8-figure wealth or more by 2028? And obviously, my own progression is going to play a key part in whether that happens. Having a few of the guys really overachieve opens up the opportunity for other guys too as well. And so this goal has been really clear for the last few months. I decided myself to become wealthy 2019. I was under significant financial stress, normal stuff for most people. I had a mortgage, and we did renovations on the house, and they cost a lot more than I thought they would. And I got to a position where I was like, that I never wanted to be in. And I'd always had made the decision of, I don't want to be under pressure. Financial pressure is not something I want to experience. I don't want to be dictated to by negative financial stress. And so, I'd lived really poor for quite a long time. I backpacked and sort of accepted, well, that's one way to never be under financial stress, is to never really, never want anything, never be in debt. And I'd made that decision up until 2017, and then we took on a mortgage and got into financial stress. And I said, like, I never want to experience this again, and I want to help other people who are in a similar situation to have more choice, to have more freedom, to be able to take the decisions that they want to take. So not too long after that, about 18 months after that, I had amassed 7-figure wealth, and I want to continue to develop that for, my own path. And I know through experience that it feels better to have 7-figure wealth than to have nearly 7-figure debt. Some people are really comfortable with debt. I'm not telling anyone else what to do. Nothing is financial advice. I'm sharing my experience here, and I want people to have choices. I want people to have awareness and to make choices that make sense to them. And I'm doing that for myself. The more friends I have around me, the more people I have around me who are doing the same thing, the further we can go. So this is the framework of Uncommon Success. This is the journey. The only way we're going to get to that wealth is by getting great products out into the world, by being better at the things that we do, by learning more skills, by publishing. It's always a challenge to hit record and to express an idea, and you realize, that wasn't quite as clear as I thought. I could have said that better. I got stuck here. That's part of the journey. If you're not out there and participating, then you can't have those videos that you're going to look back at and say, well, like I would do that differently now. But you can look back at it and say, well, I've progressed a long way. And that's really important, that you start, and then by publishing, you get that feedback loop going, and great things can happen. So here I am publishing. This is my dream. This is what I'm working on. I do have a group of people who are working towards these targets with me, and I'm very excited for that. And I hope that this makes it clearer what we're working towards with Uncommon Success. And you're welcome to join us on the journey. There's probably more details to go through in terms of what that involves. But I'll put the link to the Telegram group, and you can connect there if you are wanting to become part of the Uncommon Success journey.